Spoilers ahead, gonna be talking about Rebirth Ending and all that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was my game of the year last year. Despite acknowledging it has flaws, I still loved it.
Spouting all that crap about us?
Sometimes I might come across as really critical, that's because I hold this to a high standard. I'm comparing Rebirth to Final Fantasy VII's writing, which is my most favourite RPG of all time.
Oh, it is it?
But as a pretty big Final Fantasy VII fan, Rebirth felt like an emotional rollercoaster jam-packed with loads of references and fanservice. Maybe a little too much fanservice.
I wanted to take back my life.
I've had about a year to reflect on the game, its story, changes, gameplay, minigames, and its more controversial ending. I want to talk about whether Rebirth has had a lasting effect on me, and how some of my thoughts have changed or evolved.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'll get into the gameplay first. While I would have loved turn-based combat like in the original, I actually still love the hybrid combat that Rebirth offers. It's action with almost pseudo-turn-based elements, like when you slow down the game to issue commands. One of the reasons I really like the combat is that Rebirth still has deep RPG stuff, like exploiting enemies' elemental weaknesses, managing your party, and strong customization with the materia system.
How does materia let you cast spells exactly?
I think one system I didn't give enough credit was the Backline system. So you got your main party, but you can also assign 3 party members to the Backline, where they can provide assists and support depending upon what materia you've given them. It keeps you engaged with the characters you might not normally use, and I think it's so awesome there's so many characters on screen at once.
Is this not a bit much, sir?
I think the synergy system is pretty fantastic in Rebirth. Took a little while to fully master, but I really wanted to see all the different synergy combos and animations. It reminded me of how first time through I wanted to see all the limit breaks in the original.
Come on, y'all, let's go bag us a chocobo.
When it comes to the open world, there's one thing I'd personally change. I'd remove the towers. When you activate a tower, it reveals all the nearby activities. Maybe it's just me, but I find it more fun exploring and discovering the world for myself, rather than having it marked and already explored for me. One of the big controversies I hear with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is that there's too many minigames. To be honest, I'm mixed on this. The original Final Fantasy VII had tons of minigames, but somehow Rebirth alone has even more minigames than the entire Final Fantasy VII. I think Rebirth would have benefited from trimming out some of the bad minigames. The box throwing segment with Cait Sith comes to mind. That said, there are genuinely awesome minigames too. Queen's Blood is fantastic, and I really enjoyed the real-time strategy Fort Condor stuff.
I don't think I'll ever get used to this.
But being forced into some of the weaker minigames through the story really puts some players off. I think a really good minigame will hook you in, then you get addicted to it and then you can choose to put loads of time into it. Like I put more time into Queen's Blood than other full games last year. Speaking of getting hooked, consider subbing to Peter Bytes or liking the video for more content like this. Cover lots of RPGs, and that includes my Final Fantasy series where I'm replaying them all and ranking them against each other as I go. Thank you.
Long story short, I want you to join me.
I want to get into the storytelling. It's kind of awkward because I've played the original Final Fantasy VII so much. There are literally thousands of little things that I think both Rebirth and the original do better. From single lines of dialogue to full scenes, it's completely mixed.
The place it could have been tears me up inside.
Rebirth makes lots of little references that only the fans will pick up on. Love these.
What I cherish most?
Admittedly, there's clearly a bit of censorship going on in Rebirth too. 2 big censored things come to mind. Dyne doesn't end himself like in the original, and Cid's personality seems a bit toned down. He doesn't even have his smokes anymore.
This is one hell of a mess.
That said, there are so many moments that have been recreated from the original that I just couldn't even imagine in modern visuals, but Square Enix managed to pull it off.
2 legs, nothing to it.
Rebirth often tries to expand on things from the original, and I think this is where it sometimes slips up a little. Like Red 13 and Center was one of the most emotional moments in the game. The moment ends perfectly in the original, while Rebirth expands upon it with Jean Attic returning.
Come with me.
Interrupting the moment, and then we trust this villain to take us away, Hades style, and fight more undead. Again, it's kind of double-edged because we do get some more lore about the Black Materia that we didn't get in the original. Another scene I talk about is Dyne's death. It was a really powerful moment in the original. It's a really tragic scene where we're just left shocked and head back in silence. While in Rebirth we fight Palmer spanking his butt,
Ooh, someone needs a spanking.
and Rude and Dio wrestle while Barrett is still grieving. I admit I freaking love the Rude vs Dio fight, but I feel like this should have happened before we encounter Dine, or even a little bit later after his death. I feel this could have been perfect if just rejigged a little. As amazing as Rebirth is, when it rewrites and expands on the story, I don't always feel the story writing changes are for the better, and these changes sometimes damage the mood of these emotional moments. I think the best example of that would be Rebirth's controversial ending. Ultimately, I think this is why Rebirth came so close, but ended up losing Best Storytelling of 2024 to Metaphor ReFantasio at the Game Awards.
Well, no point dwelling on it.
But 1000% I do think Rebirth earned Best Soundtrack of the Year. This is up there as one of my most favourite game soundtracks of all time. It's insane how many remixes of Final Fantasy VII music there are. In particular, I love all the music for the Genova fights. When I look back at Rebirth, I've got to admit it does feel like it's been Disneyified a little bit. Maybe because Square Enix also developed Kingdom Hearts. There are lots of song and dance moments that weren't in the original game, and I think that's going to be a subjective thing if you like that or not. Okay, I want to talk a bit more about Rebirth's controversial ending. Straight off they got the City of the Ancients atmosphere completely wrong with us rushing through it, but once things got rolling it was insane. I remember pausing the game a few times in shock. I've never been so on the edge of my seat when Sephiroth comes down to kill Aerith. Genova fight was awesome. Zack stuff was fan service I really wanted as a Final Fantasy VII fan.
Well, nice to see you too.
But the more this finale went on, the more confusing it got, with Bizarro Sephiroth who shouldn't even exist yet, and Aerith rejoining the fight. The story started to get a bit stupid and dumb.
Literally got to be the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Again, I think if they just rejigged things a little, it would have worked a lot better. Like personally, I would have kept Aerith appearing till the end of part 3. It would have been so much more impactful if this moment had waited till sometime after her death.
Wow. You went there, huh?
Multiverse stuff in general isn't the best storytelling.
Yeah, I think I'm good with just one Cloud.
The one and only.
While I've heard some really cool theories about Rebirth's ending, like Aerith is Genova or Genova's manipulating Cloud's mind, I feel a bit burnt out from all the theory crafting. I had all these crazy questions and theories after Remake's ending, like can Sephiroth manipulate Zack's Genova cells? And it all didn't really mean much in the grand scheme.
No, not you.
For the most part, Rebirth follows most of the steps of the original Final Fantasy VII, with some weird Zack bits in between, and a batshit crazy finale. So I imagine part 3 will work in some kind of similar format.
Tomorrow is another day.
That said, I still love the game, my game of the year. I've just got some criticisms. I really want to replay Rebirth on PC and get proper 60 FPS and a higher resolution experience. Alright, have a good one.